Hey, welcome to the Team Builders Show. I am super pumped about today. I've got Jack and I've got Sara, who run an amazing business, and I've got Dan over here, who also runs an amazing business. We're going to get into introductions in a sec. But what I want to get into today is the number one question I've been asked as a coach for as long as I can remember. Beyond what CRM should I use and what lead systems do you recommend, it is, how do I get organized? How do I get organized? So if you're a CEO of a company right now, you're a team leader, you're a solo agent, you're probably asking yourself the same question. So my experience, getting organized means things like clear goals, having KPIs, knowing what you have to do every day to achieve the goals, KPIs, having a scoreboard, a way to measure your performance, obviously having some level of accountability, right? Of course, people management and meeting schedules to keep everything moving forward, but not so many meetings that all we ever do is sit in meetings. SOPs are documented ways that we do what we do: client care, transaction management, launch a listing, etc. And then of course, a tech stack that complements. And I thought no one better than a founder, a director of operations, and a COO to talk about this stuff. So let's go ladies first. So Sara, share with the audience, who are you? How long you been in the business? Who's this guy standing over here? And what the heck are you doing working with him? Like,
seriously, what am I doing? Yeah, so I'm Sara. I'm very new into the business.
Yes.
Less than 3 years, but it's incredible. So I've taken things that I've done in the past and turned them into things that totally help the team that we're guiding right now.
Yes.
So found my way working with Jack because of some things going on with a previous employer, a team I was managing. And
was it another real estate team?
It wasn't. No, I was managing an optometrist practice.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So incredible culture.
Yes.
Cultures are number one. Like that's what we do.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation. It just something clicked. It made sense, and been going at it ever since. It's pretty awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lots of passion in what we do. We're
going to unpack all this. So Jack, give people some context for who you are, where you guys work, right? Founder of the business.
Yep. Jack Lehr. We're True Advantage Realty. Now we're True Advantage Team.
Yep.
We have teams in Pennsylvania, Maryland. We're building one here in Dallas, and now we also have our team in Scottsdale, Arizona. So we're building teams throughout the U.S.
Look at this one.
Build where you want to go.
We want to talk more about this.
Build where you want to hang out.
Yes.
Go to great places. And again, we treat ourselves as a sales team. We train sales, but it's we just happen to sell real estate.
Yes.
So just a lot of mindset, building each other up, family, hardcore accountability. The things that I always talk about from coaching T-ball all the way up to high-level performers is, have a grateful heart, compete at a high level to dominate in life, and then, finish and start strong. So that's what we're about.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Mr. Dan.
Right on. Dan Barnett. I'm with the Jill Biggs Group out of Hoboken, New Jersey, sort of Hudson County, right across the river from Manhattan.
Yeah.
Started the beginning of last year. Been there about 14 months now.
Yes.
Jill had 15 agents. We're now at 39. We doubled our business last year. Causality of my coming to the team and doing that is maybe in question, but we are kicking butt.
Another humble leader. I
like
that.
There you go.
I like that. So give me your background though, because you came from basically running an optometry business, which is not unlike a real estate practice from the standpoint of its high volume of transactions.
Right.
It's people management, right?
Client management.
Yeah. A lot of similarities.
Yeah. Preschool before that. So.
Then now it all makes sense.
Now that's so a real estate office used to be also called an adult daycare center. So you were definitely prepared.
Yes.
I love it. Background prior to joining Jill's team.
Yes. So I was the head of marketing for Coldwell Banker NRT for 10 years, actually.
Yes.
And we had a bit of a regime change there.
Yeah.
And Jill was super close with Bruce Ziff, who was the former CEO of NRT, who was a mentor of mine, former boss, and he hooked us up. And it's been awesome, and it's great to be on. I was honestly, my clients before were really the presidents of the NRT companies.
Yeah, the regional presidents.
Exactly. And I certainly knew a lot of agents, but I wasn't in the day-to-day business.
Yes.
So it is fantastic to now be at this level and really helping her grow the business and take over the world.
So I'm going to ask you both then the same question. So someone might be listening to this and they're like, okay, they're a Jack, they're a Tom, they're a Sara, she's this high-powered real estate agent, and she knows because her coach has told her repeatedly, if you ever got a Dan or a Sara, the yin to your yang, your business would explode because an artist can only go so far. So maybe the first thing I would ask the two of you is, what do you think is the most important things that have to be done in the first 100 days when you're joining an existing team?
So it's
and you guys can go back and forth on, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, this
that's
is a conversation.
Great question. So I think it's becoming vulnerable in what they need to learn. We have a lot of brand new agents come onto our team.
Yes.
So brand new to the business, they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
So it's embracing that culture, being in the office, being around everybody, learning from their experiences. You know, we are dead set on our team meetings. So you need to be there. You need to be learning. You need to be in the office learning from them, because that's how you're going to be able to go out into the wild and, you know, oh, this is happening. I've heard this before.
Yes.
You know, Jen on my team or Emily on my team, Ian, they've been through these things.
Yes.
So I think that's huge. Just being around everyone and really absorbing things.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say, Dan?
What
Getting started that first 100 days.
Fix shit.
Yes.
So
how do you spell that?
it was when I came in. I mean, she had a lot of pain points.
Right.
And so it's basically making the list, go through the prioritization. What do we need? I mean, she was in the middle of a website transition, a CRM transition.
Yeah.
So roll up the sleeves, start working on.
Had no sales manager and 15 salespeople.
Exactly.
Right.
And so you say, okay, you have the immediate burning things, but then also what's your 30, 60, 90?
Right.
And even sort of beyond that. So it is. You can't be necessarily too far thinking when you first show up.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's very much you got to be understand the culture. You can't just start making harebrained decisions. Right. But I do think I was very fortunate in that sort of Jill and I very quickly got to trust.
Yes.
Not even entirely sure why that was, but just simpatico. And so she let me in very quickly, very, very deep, which I think helped us really start to tackle stuff.
Right.
Oh.
Right. She was also vulnerable, which I think is important for for the boss, the C-suite, whatever it may be, right? Otherwise, if they're guarded, nothing happens. Yeah. So Jack, what was important to you in that first 100 days?
Like for onboarding our team, or just coming into
with Sara, going back 3 years.
Yeah, again, it's the trust thing. Actions and words matching up, and building that trust. Like putting that, putting my expectations out there for the culture, and then Sara like just running with it hardcore. That was the big thing that brought us together.
Yeah,
Sarah's become an incredible friend of mine, but more important, I mean, that's very important, Sara.
Yes.
But the thing is, she does the work and she puts in the energy and effort, and her teammates see it.
Yes.
Like she's available at 11 p.m. to help with the contract.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too much on the enabling side, but you know what?
We're having a coaching moment right now in the middle of the podcast.
We constantly bring it back to stop mothering.
Yes. They already have moms.
Right.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that, I'm getting senses of like which of these line up for you. Which ones do you?
For me?
Reading those, which one stands out for you? The people that are listening only right now are going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
if you watched me on YouTube, I always had these little building blocks in front of me, which is like, this is me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want it to be.
And be gone.
And then that's what I need.
Yellow is very relationship oriented, right?
Yeah.
It's just a variation of disc. It's all.
I'm going to say it's a give me details, but I really want it to be brief, be bright, and be gone. That's what I'm going towards.
Would you say very similar?
Yep.
Okay, because that's basically a stereotypical COO.
Yeah.
Right? Where this person's great with contracts, keep people organized, love on them. All right, so let's go back to just a little ADD moment there. But
I
had a feeling. All right. So let's talk about how do we get organized, right? Every agent wants to get organized. So you've got how many people now between agents and staff? Same thing. How many people?
So we have about 20 in our office right now between agents and staff, plus 2 additional virtual transaction coordinators.
And there are teams that we're growing.
Yeah. That's just in our PA Maryland market.
Yes.
I mean, we have then beyond that
that
we're building and replicating throughout.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're 50 agents and staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's go right to what I think is the heart, which is how do you build out SOPs, and then how do you get the right tech stack? So SOPs, standard operating procedures. This is how we do what we do. Give us an example, the two of you, of an SOP either you've recently installed or you've improved upon, and how did you do it? Like, what was the process to actually pick it apart or start it from scratch?
So there wasn't a whole lot of it when I came into the team. So
I had a feeling.
It's definitely
Sorry,
something.
Jack.
And honestly, it's an ever evolving thing that's happening, because I can tend to get pulled away easily to try to help the team and pick up their slack in some way.
Right.
So Kay Fairchild, who is our coach, she has really you need to get this down, because you can't do that for everybody across the nation. So, we have things in place. We have, we use our Trellos, or, I do have systems within Sisu, and we have things within Follow Up Boss. We have an incredible IT guy that is helping us create those processes along the way as well. So we just, I want to say getting into like the Sisus, the Follow-Up Boss, things like that, where you can just put those standards in there. It helps both agents and any staff coming on train so much easier and know what's my next step for everything.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I want an exact example. Like we can tackle things like lead flow, right? So let's talk lead flow for a second. You guys have how many different ways leads are coming in? We just were talking about it's on a coaching session, right?
Yeah,
so you're like, thanks, coach, right?
I mean, it's probably 50 or 60, and 90% of it is coming through, 4 or 5 things. 50
or 60 different lead sources, but 90% of them. And I forget the number. I don't want to misquote it. How many 1,000 leads coming in a month?
Oh, it's about 1,000 actually. I think in the high 900s right now.
Right. And we're adding one, which we shouldn't disclose, but we know we're adding a pretty significant one.
Buckle up.
Yeah, coming up soon. So that number could increase to 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 leads in a month.
Probably 1,400, yeah.
So talk to us about the process you went through to make sure that the leads come into the one single source and that they get to the right person. And then they get followed up on, and then they get converted. We're just talking funnel management here.
And actually, sort of this process, and really all of our processes it's a bit of a moving target right now, because of we're at this point with scaling, where everything has to change. And on our TC side, so Isaac Mahone, our great TC manager, he could keep a lot going by himself, but now we've hired, Natalie's come in to help him with listings. We're going to hire an additional TC. Sort of you get past the point where one person has to, knows it and can make it happen in a high quality way. You have to build out and get very specific on the processes. On the lead side, we've added 3 ISAs. And we're very much on board with don't just put all the leads out, pull it back, pull them back, have the agents focused on the hot, going to close in the next, 60, 120 days. And so a lot of that everything's been changing.
So I'm going to go super tactical.
Yeah.
So I'm
you
a
want
lead.
Details.
I do. I'm a lead. I just came through, I was at an open house. And I signed in. I was on your Google page. I clicked on a Google ad. I clicked on a Facebook ad. I clicked on something on Instagram. I DM'd Jill.
Yep.
How soon before the ISA gets it, and how does it get to the ISA?
So if it's any kind of lead source, which has a person calling or texting, that's largely getting routed real time right out to an agent. And we do, we have lead shifts and assign lead days. So we have redundant coverage. So basically the answer on there is someone's going to pick up right away. Or if you call our main number, we've got multiple people who will pick up the phone. We use in fact, we were just talking about this. So we use Dialpad to have, multiple operators on shared lines. And when it comes to just your kind of internet lead inquiries, those are going right to the ISAs, and we use Follow Up Boss, which in using round robin and lead routing, we're looking to have that contact within 5-10 minutes.
Okay. So talk about Dialpad.
Yep.
What is it for the person that has no idea what that is?
Oh, sorry. So Dialpad is basically think of it as like an office switchboard that's on the internet. They call it, the term would be VoIP or voice over IP system. So there's a lot out there, Ring Central, 8x8.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, the reason, and Follow Up Boss we use has phone numbers built in as well.
Yep.
But we wanted, because Jill's phone number is everywhere, and we have, our different marketing numbers, we wanted to have someplace we could really make sure that there were going to be 3 or 4 people who were going to pick up the phone.
Yes.
So no one ever had to wait to get an answer. And a big reason was I needed to find a solution so that multiple people could access Jill's texts.
Bingo.
Just so Jill's still a heavy producer, going to be about 20% of the business this year. Loves it, is great at it, and everyone has her numbers. So it's a great source of clients coming in who want to list. And she's like, if somebody texts me and I don't respond in 3 minutes, that's unacceptable.
Right.
So we need to have depth in order to handle that. And honestly, Dialpad's not the perfect solution. There's things about it I don't love, but it is a solution and we can make it work.
Exactly.
So
key distinction, I think, for everybody. I mean, Jack, I think you'd agree on this. Like there's no single piece of software that I'm like, that does everything I thought it would do.
I'm still waiting to find it.
Right.
Hopefully someday.
But the combination between this one, at least I know the lead came in, somebody called them, we booked an appointment, and something happened.
Yeah,
right. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's all we're basically looking for.
You're looking that system and process
Right.
needs to be in place. It doesn't matter what you're using.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody says, what's the best CRM? The one you're using.
Right.
Because most don't use it.
Right.
Stay within it. If you
Exactly.
can stay within it, that's the first part.
So Sarah, back to you, right, with a specific example. So I'm pressing my my pal over here for like the details, and that the person listening right now is probably taking notes and like, okay, I need to build some SOPs. So give us an example of an SOP that you built for onboarding a new agent.
Sure. So
You're like, thanks. I had another one in mind, Tom, but go ahead. Sure.
No, it's okay. And again, like back to we're and I just said this when we were chatting in the mastermind next door. We're rebuilding that even. So right now it's kind of within Trello that, we have our processes in place and the steps that everybody needs to take. And then you put it along with these things that, they need to watch and, follow up on, and then setting up times with me so we can sit down and do contracts together. So for me, it's messy still. I don't love what we have with that, and it is totally getting restructured. Something that we're looking into is UpClick for that management. Which I'm really excited for.
What is up? Another piece of software.
Another piece of software.
Right?
So and honestly, it's Jack's wife that found it, and for her business and everything that's going on, and Jack and his wife have all these incredible businesses. So trying to manage all of that, and she was like, this might be really great for onboarding agents as well as when we're doing, onboarding full teams, when we're spreading out across the country. So building something that works here, but also works everywhere. So I can't give details there.
I think of UpClick,
Keep going,
I think of UpClick as a sauna, like twice as nice and half the price.
That's exactly.
It is a very nice monthly cost to it.
Yep.
We still use Asana because that's what I know. And so we pay for it. But, J.D. Leonard was turning us on to UpClick. I think he liked that.
What about Notion? Have you guys heard about Notion?
The first time I heard about it.
Just heard about it. Absolutely.
We were talking about yesterday in the coaches mastermind that a lot of the coaches are using it as they're onboarding a new client.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I need you to watch these 5 videos.
Right.
And of course with Notion, if they watch the video, it's like bomb, you know that they watched the video, right? So, welcome to my schedule. Here's how we work, right?
Totally.
We were talking about, so we're going to be implementing High Note. And, so for listing presentations, buyer presentations.
Another great example,
But that could be something that we could totally use for onboarding agents because you get to see if they looked into it, if they watched the videos, what they were doing, how long they did it.
Exactly.
So that's in the process as well.
For the sales training, the sales process, like everything.
Right. Have the videos in there, have PDFs in there, have all of that in that nice, attractive to the eye platform.
High Note's like a better version of like
Moxie
PowerPoint.
Present or whatever.
Yeah, Moxie Present, exactly.
It's super cool, and we learned that at Elite this past year. So it was we were really, that was one of the big takeaways.
Or at Summit,
Or at Summit, that's it.
Okay,
Summit.
so we're gonna ask the deep and dirty secret question here, which is, as an operator, what do you do when your artist agent is batshit crazy?
Call them out on their shit. Call them out. I'm big on it.
And for the person listening, by the way, if you're like, did he just call me batshit crazy?
They are.
Let me
if I ever had to work
You're
with
an
a person
artist.
like that, I guess I could try to think what it would be like.
It's got the anomaly office.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I say this with the utmost respect. I know I'm batshit crazy. Crazy people change the world. Right?
Absolutely.
Crazy people do crazy things, and they dream crazy things. And if I don't surround myself with operational excellence and actually listen to them, it never scales.
Yeah.
It never scales. So I'm, I know my weakness, and I know how I then turn to, my C-suite and say, help. But reverse it. Maybe the person that's listening right now doesn't have the self-awareness. How do you get that person to have the self-awareness so they do what they're great at and don't constantly walk up and go, hey.
Yeah.
And changing direction every 14 seconds.
And Sarah was talking about sort of how the daily fires pull you off from kind of moving the ball forward. So we did a little bit of a hack, which was embracing EOS. So Gino Wickman's entrepreneurial operating system. There are a lot of good things in there. Yep. One of which is the 90-day look. Like what are the upfront commitment? What are you going to do in the next 90 days?
Right.
Because one, you always put too much down, but then you kind of lock it down. Like, well, we know we can only get 6 things done, but we need to get 12, so we'll put 12 down. And then when it's like, but we also need to do X, it's like it's not in the 90 days.
Right.
Having that, it gives you that structure to say,
exactly,
this is what we said we're going to do. Let's do this.
Yeah. Coming out of NRT, whether it's the 4 disciplines of execution, OKR, measure what matters, EOS, the 12-week year. The 12-week year, the entire thing is predicated on what can you do in the next 12 weeks, and you run it as a year. Right? With a completion at the end, with a congratulations, happy new year, and then you take a week off, and then you reset the next 12 weeks and you race like crazy, right? So there's all these different operating systems, right? Installing one is the key. What do you do though when Jill, if you're listening, we love you. When Jill walks in and says, but I just heard something and it's incredible and it's a huge opportunity. How do you prioritize? Is it not? Does it get into the plan? Does it not? Because sometimes it does have to get in the plan.
Right. And it's situational, right? So my go-to answer is no, which she loves. But it's really
respects, right?
Right,
Jack? Respects.
Yes.
Hates, but respects.
Yes. It is. No, but and here's the thing. Jill has great ideas, and she is so often right. It's so annoying. Her gut is really, really right on.
Yes. Yeah.
But so the answer is, this sounds like a really great idea. We should do that. Let's make sure we do it next quarter. Unless, of course, it is very clearly like, oh shit, excuse my language, drop everything.
Yes.
We are now going to do this. And that does happen sometimes. And you have to.
Yeah.
But it's not every time, every day.
I think the key, when I want to go to you, same question. What do you do when Jack walks in and says, okay, just came from a Tom Ferry seminar. This is what we're doing now. And you're like, what about our plan?
That happens often. So it's the respect of each other's opinion too.
Yes.
So we break it down. And maybe at first I'm like, no, I can't do it. I don't have time for this. Like I have 13 other things I'm doing right now.
Right.
And that's like literally how we talk to each other sometimes.
That's good.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
We really need that.
That's authentic.
And then I remind her,
real.
Sarah, you're a can-do person. Let's figure it out.
And then he walks out my door. So
typical visionary leader. I believe in you.
Exactly.
But
I'm going to the golf course. I'll see you later.
At the end of the day, if I have a valid reason why that just doesn't make sense, he's going to be open-minded to it. Or if he has a valid reason why we need to do this now, we're going to jump on it.
And she
we're
gets it done.
We're going to see what needs to happen. And I'm not a 9 to 5. If it's, I'm working into the evening or the weekend to get it done, it's going to happen.
I had a friend of mine, CEO of a very large real estate related portal company, who is no longer there, say to me once, my team only allows me 1 idea a quarter. And I was, because he's an idea guy, right? And I was like, I'm like, how did you get to that? He goes, well, they started with none. And he's like, and I said, well, I need to be able to have some idea. I am the CEO of the company. And I was like, yeah, I get that, right? And then knowing a bunch of his other executive team members, they were like, and every time he's almost always right with the one he wants, right? But because they gave him that filter of, hey, you're an idea machine, right? We don't need more ideas. We need more execution.
Right.
We need more systems. We need more process. We need more scalability. So let's switch gears and let's talk about tech stack. So Sarah, you went Sisu, Follow Up Boss, Trello.
Trello is very, very, very lightly used.
Okay.
I wouldn't even put that very high on there.
Okay.
So Sisu, follow-up boss. Gosh, I just listed all of these off over there. Ylopo. Yep. We have, the dot loop and SkySlope for compliance and all of those. And I think that's it for the most part. We're going to be implementing High Note. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So follow-up bosses. Yeah. So Sisu is everything from build your business plan to the scoreboard to track and measure by lead source, by salesperson, right? So it gives you all that. So big shout out to the guys at Sisu.
It splits up the teams too. So as we are building these, it does by each state, but can also combine. It helps transaction management, but it also helps the agents know what to do next. But it gives us all the numbers too.
It's the tracking and reporting, and we can teach and coach from that. That's the big thing that we find that, coach from actual stats, and then we know that it takes 11 connections for Emily on our team to have a transaction. It takes somebody else 40, and then we know that we need to either build some skill or there's something else going on,
right?
Or they're on their way out. So got to work on that lid with them.
It's the math. It's the business's math, right? Okay, so he's going to rattle off a bunch, and you're going to go, oh yeah, I also do that one. So just keep bouncing back and forth.
Got it.
Give us the tech stack of the company.
What she said. Follow up boss Ylopo, Sisu.
Yes.
Instead of Trello, we use Asana fairly actively. That is so not so much transaction management, but other project management.
Right. So just to be clear, so for everybody out there, whether it's Trello, whether it's the old school doing and done board, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, but Asana, Trello, and Monday seem to be sort of the dominant players in the project management. And some people will take it and say, this is going to be how I manage my transactions. Some people manage listings in there. Some people manage all their marketing inside there. So these are just a bunch of tabs with if this, then do that, then do this, then do that, and a way to track and measure all of your projects.
Yep. Or even just, we use it as much as the daily to-dos,
right?
And assigning out to staff. But then I think all of these systems, if you have a repeatable project, a repeatable thing, there's a template. So you don't have to remember, what's the 8th step of this 19-step process?
Right.
Well, and when there's too many, we just had this recently, when there's too many tech things, the agents check out.
Yeah.
So they won't go into all of them. So, it's, we need to know how to do this, what my steps are. Well, we've had this, and I was aggravated in the meeting. Yeah. I've had this implemented forever and you're not using it. So we ended up taking when you have a listing, when you, those kinds of steps. And we now have those templates that were in Trello. Our incredible tech guy has now gotten all of them into Follow-Up Boss. So that way, once this person's considered a seller, listing, under contract, whatever it is, it automatically puts those tasks in Follow-Up Boss for them, because that's where they're going to be. They're going to go within Follow-Up Boss.
Right. They're going to stay inside their CRM, right?
Yeah.
Because at least they got accustomed to that.
So we have to think for the agents. We have to think to help them, because they're frantic a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They really are. They're doing what they do best, which is working with people.
Yes.
So that's, Jack has set up things within our team that, they can do the people stuff. So when we hear that there's a weakness somewhere, okay, we got to step it up. Where are you looking? That's where we need to have
Make that investment. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's where we need to have it.
I love the phrase, Iron Man, right? So Tony Stark, right? So Tony was a pretty brilliant guy on his own, but when he put that suit on, he became unstoppable. Right. And that's how I look at really productive salespeople. When we give them that suit of Follow-Up Boss, tech, systems and process, no longer have to write everything by memory, they become Iron Man or Iron Woman or whatever, whatever the appropriate phrase for that is. Iron person, right? Iron people. Is that, Katie, is that right? Iron people? Hashtag Iron people. All right.
So the more you can get, you can unbaggage the head with the things that, don't use up mental bandwidth to try to remember stuff. Move, focus highest and best use, right?
Yeah.
Focus on the calls. Focus on making the conversions, getting the listings, and then have the system tell you, today it's time to call Jane.
So, how do the two of you prepare your day? Or do you do a prepare the week? Or I know we prepare the month and the next 90 days, but the daily, how do you organize your day?
So there are, every day's got a couple things that have to happen that day.
Examples?
Coaching call, put together your numbers and brief your team leader so we actually sound smart with our coach.
He's looking right at me right there.
Just one thing. But you know what?
For years she just carried around in her back pocket and I go, Jill, how you doing? She's like, hold on. I'm at 147 closed. I was like, if you didn't have that paper, who gives you that paper? All right, so back on your day.
So whatever is, are you running payroll that week? Is it time to, are you doing lead reviews? So
yes.
there are those sort of standard things, and then.
But is that
what does Asana say I have to do today?
Yeah,
because I guess I'm not doing the day-to-day transactions. It's more, how are we moving the infrastructure forward? How are we moving the foundation forward? And what are the big projects that we're moving?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have to think, oh my goodness, it's the 1st and the 15th, I need to do payroll, or is that in your calendar? Does somebody notify you?
No, systems need to tell you what to do.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So what system tells you that?
So specifically payroll is Gusto.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew there's another piece of tech in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's always more tech.
There's always another one.
Yeah.
How do you organize your day?
So I have certain things, of course, that need done weekly, certain times, whatever it is. Of course, those things are blocked out. I have to set reminders for myself. So he'll say, remind me this. So then I'm now going into my phone and setting myself a reminder to remind Jack of something.
Yes.
So honestly, I use my Apple reminders like crazy.
Oh, hey Siri, remind me at 1 p.m. today to get to Jill and ask her about the refrigerator for 267 Ogden.
Yep, 100%.
I'm just looking to see if my Siri went off there.
100%. Like
thing.
I love that stupid little reminder app on my phone. That's what works for me.
Right.
Yeah, and then everything else, it's a lot of times flying by the seat of my pants with whatever he's coming.
Yeah, but one of the things that we've implemented that Sarah's done a great job is having meetings and breaking them down into 6-minute increments, and you only get one extension. And here's what that looks like. I took it from my world, from college football. I had an incredible coach, and they ran 6-minute sessions.
Yep.
And if you can't get it done in 6 minutes, again, you have one extension ability in every meeting.
Yeah,
and
that's been huge.
They would come in there, and Sarah's incredible. So they want to spend 30 minutes with her, 40 minutes with her. Now it's 6-minute sessions. It's clocked. You get one extension, and that's it.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
That's fantastic.
It's nice. When
Stealing
especially
it.
that many agents, how are you? We have our weekly meetings or
Right.
bi-weekly depending on the agent.
Yes.
So it would take up a lot of my time. But
Do you
I
find
wanted
agents like to
them.
talk a lot? So I do.
There's an agent right now that's offended by that, Dan. Yes.
Middle finger from somebody.
Yes.
I love the idea of just, and you mentioned culture, but sort of the way you do things. So if people are like, oh, I don't want to just have 6 minutes. It's just, that's how we do it.
Right.
You don't think about it, and you get people to come in. They're more efficient, more prepared.
That's the standard.
Hey, I have my own CRM. Well, great. Then you can go to that team or go on your own.
Yeah.
Like it's our culture. Like you use what we use to build what we're building.
Right.
And if you don't want to be a part of that, that's fine. Like we have an abundance mentality. Let's move on.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Let's talk about offboarding people. What's your process?
So if we're finding there are cancers within our team, we're instantly going to talk to them about it. So I do not fear talking to somebody about things. If I see something's off about an agent, I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
We will together bring somebody in. We build up. We want to build them up.
Yeah.
We're going to say, this is what we see is off. What's going on? What can we do to make it better? This is what the deadline looks like. We're going to re-meet and see how things are going.
Yeah.
And then we get into our next meeting, evaluate how things are going. A lot of times that first time they're like, things start building up and, they're on their A game. But there are people, it tends to go back down again. So, a lot of times we give them another chance or two to have that, that
Another
reset.
Another 6 minutes.
Yeah, another reset. And then if it doesn't make sense, then...
Yeah, but Sarah's done a great job of setting the upfront contract with all of our teammates. Like bringing them in and saying, hey, if that's going on, here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
You as a team member got to have that conversation and say, hey, let's build ourselves up. Like, why are we so negative today? What's going on?
Yeah.
Because we know that when you say negative thoughts, you magnetize that by 40 to 70. Let's just not even say them because they go through our lid.
Right.
Let's
right.
So Sarah's been great at setting that expectation, setting the culture, and now they protect it at all costs. Like we don't have to really say anything until it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we will get them off the team. We will help them out if that's what needs to happen, because we're not letting it take down the rest of our team.
Right.
Like, culture is 100% our number one.
We've helped remove some incredible
people.
producers and great humans, but they just didn't match up culturally anymore.
Yeah.
Same question.
Yeah. So it's almost never a surprise. And a lot of this, frankly, falls on Andy Emery, so our sales manager, and Jill. I mean, they both have a good sense for, if someone's withdrawing, if someone is sort of, they're not coming in, you can tell they're not doing calls.
Yeah.
And it's, we don't want people to leave, but sometimes it's not the right fit, as you said. And then it's about, Jill is very much, it's a small business. We're all going to do business again, and wishes everyone the best on kind of whatever they're going off to do.
The thing is, if you don't approach it, it tears down the rest of the team.
Yep.
So get that one piece out before the whole thing falls apart.
They see it, and you lose respect when you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
So Sarah's great at dealing with it pretty hardcore up front.
And then you get to do the 19-step checklist to get
I
them
was
out
just
of
going
all
to say,
the
and
systems.
then you have
Get
an
'em out of
insult.
Exactly.
Well,
Get 'em off the lot.
we have an IT person
delete.
for that. We say, boom,
Yep.
and it's done.
Yeah.
Execute order 56.
Yep.
Yes. All
Another
right.
Trello for that.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here. We actually try and keep these relatively short, but this has been fun just to explore this. So we covered tech stack. We talked about sort of 12 weeks. We talked, operational next 90 days, how to say no to your CEO. No, Jack. No, Jack. No, Jill. Go away. No, Tom. Yeah, that back to me. Final thoughts. Final thoughts for the person that's listening to this and they really want to become a better operator. They really want to have the team scale and grow. What's a book or a recommendation or an idea that you've implemented that's really helped you, with certainty grow?
So for me, it's just confidence in what you're doing. Like, I know what needs to be done. We know what's expected. And it's, if you truly care about that team and want to see that team grow and flourish, it's being committed to it and just doing the things you have to do, whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tough stuff, but there's so many incredible aspects of it, of being a part of that team, that, it's worth all of it.
Yeah.
It is super rewarding to be able to be a part of a team that's really growing. It's exciting to grow. I mean, as much as I love to be in the corporate world of constantly cutting budget and headcount, to be on sort of a
much as I loved
to be on a rocket ship, it gets you bouncing up in the morning. I do think the ability, the more you can sort of have a mind match between the visionary and the operations person. The visionary is like, I want to own the world, and then the operator is like, well, I'm focused on this week. If you can kind of get together on a view of, okay, what does 2 years out, 3 years out actually look like, and try to put some hard details on it. Like, okay, well, you want to do 1,000 transactions? Well, what does that look like? How many people do we have to have? How many markets are we? And then as an operator, you're like, oh God, like I'm starting to put together my project list. It just, I think, helps create the reality of how you're actually going to get there, and you start putting those steps in place.
Right.
And I mean, maybe that's a little obvious to say out loud, but I think to really kind of set that plan helps get everybody mentally on the same page of being excited. Yeah. And focused on that goal.
It's back to that, having that mutual respect.
Yeah.
Respecting each other's opinions on what's going on in the business.
Yeah.
I love it. Jack,
I just think we all need to be way less casual. We need to have a desperation for getting to success a hell of a lot quicker. And that's the hard part that I see with a lot of people in my world or other people building teams is they're too damn casual in their life. And we need to be way more desperate for success to get there quicker.
Yeah.
Urgency.
Yeah. Less meetings for meetings to prep the meeting. Let's do the meeting before the meeting and then the
All that
meeting after
corporate.
the meeting to discuss. It's like, No more meetings.
Go get it done.
Let's go get
6
some shit
minutes.
done. 6 minutes. I think we're all stealing that.
Tattoo that on the inside of my arm.
There is a song
Yes.
about that, right? 6 minutes, Dougie Fresher on, right?
Whoa, hey now.
We're going back.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to the Team Builder Show. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate you always. Listen, if you haven't liked, subscribed, hit the notification button, please make sure you do all that stuff. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.